Boys Down Bad podcast, and we are extremely excited to welcome on a true Nebraska football legend, Jordan Westerkamp, to the pod. Jordan, welcome on.
Hey guys, thanks so much. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. We're so excited to have you. So a couple weeks ago, we just tagged you in an Instagram reel saying our favorite Husker memories. You were mine at number one with the Northwestern Hail Mary catch. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but you immediately followed us. So we really appreciate that and appreciate you coming on to chat with us today.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I love talking Nebraska, man, and it's been a wild few years. Everything that's been going on, so there's a lot to talk about.
Absolutely, and we'll jump into it in a little bit. But we just wanted to ask you, after football, what's been going on for you? What are you doing right now?
Yeah, so I had a kind of a good and bad turn of events. My senior year in Nebraska, unfortunately, I was pretty beat up, and I had a lot of injuries that not many people knew about. Keep it quiet, but going into my senior year, I had a sports hernia surgery. I had taken a knee to my back playing University of Illinois. I can't remember what week that was, but I ended up fracturing three of my transverse processes, which are those knobs that are on your spinal column.
Oh, geez.
From a knee to my back. I caught a low ball and a knee to my back, like just pure blunt force trauma. That was brutal. So I missed a few games with that. And then, I came back, played the rest of the season, getting ready for our bowl game against Tennessee. I caught a ball, made a move, and something was moving around in my knee. I was like, okay, here we go. What the hell is this crap? Find out that I tore my meniscus, and I actually had what was called a chondral defect, which is, from my understanding, it's chipping of like the cartilage that covers the femur head. So from my understanding, what they told me is, that stuff typically happens when people get into car accidents or severe wear and tear on the body just over time. So my senior year there, that was a very untimely injury. As you know, when you're a senior and you finish that last game, you're supposed to be prepping for the combine, doing everything in your power to get your body as best as it's ever felt, and working those performance tests, whatnot, getting ready for the biggest day of your life. So instead of doing that, I was on crutches for 4 months. I missed Nebraska's pro day. I was invited to the combine, but I couldn't perform. I got invited to the East-West Shrine football game, which is one of the two big college all-star games. So I was able to go down there and interviewed with a bunch of coaches. And again, I was on crutches and I was in, kind of like a leg contraption to keep my leg where it needed to be. So that was a little bit of a bummer and obviously pretty not ideal. I'll just say that, not ideal. So that was tough. Thank God, I still had a great career at Nebraska. The Miami Dolphins took a shot with me and they signed me free agency right after the draft. And I went there, and again, my body was still nowhere near ready. But again, that window of opportunity, it's this big. It's this big. It's the highest level possible. It's this big. So I had to take, my chance and go there. And I was kicking butt. I was doing well, and I was just in training camp. And again, I catch a pass and actually scored a touchdown in practice. And I reach into the end zone, overreach with my leg, and I popped my hamstring on my opposite leg that I had surgery on. The opposite leg that I had surgery on. So I was compensation issues, dysfunctional. I mean, again, my body was nowhere near where it needed to be. So I ended up popping that hamstring, and it was just another punch, another wound. So that was a bad one too. It was a grade 2, close to a grade 3. So I was out like 9 months rehabbing that. I did an injury settlement with the Dolphins, and I came back home, and that's kind of when I finally put my foot down. I'm like, listen, this isn't just for football anymore. I'm 20. 21, 22 years old, and I'm struggling to put my socks on in the morning. I have all sorts of bumps and bruises. My body's totally beat up. I actually found out 2 months ago, I got an MRI on my shoulder. I tore my labrum while I was at Nebraska as well. And I remember when it happened, we were playing McNeese State, and Amir Abdullah has an unbelievable run. I threw a block there at the end where I extended, and I fell on my shoulder, and that's when it happened. I subluxed my shoulder.
Jeez.
I had never gotten an MRI on it. I was part of that time of the NCAA where they could really just, shoot you up or, give you some pain medication. You played through it. And they didn't really lay the hammer down on what they could do, what they could and couldn't do until my junior, senior year. So it was just bothering me, a couple months ago. And I had always known that there was something wrong. I was just able to play through it. And I had good range of motion and whatnot, but finally, he was pissed off. Like, I'm getting an MRI. I don't care. Find out that the labrum's completely torn and 2 of my rotator cuff muscles have fraying. So Add that to the list. So I got my ass kicked. I got my ass kicked. Would I do it again all over? Absolutely. Absolutely. I had the best time ever at Lincoln. Just unfortunately, my playing career ended shorter than I wanted to and expected just because of injuries, and it happens. And I totally I'm content with it. It's part of the deal. You sign up for it. It happens. I just a lot of people don't understand all the stuff that I went through, and not just physically but mentally as well. But I came back home, and I put my foot down, and I looked up. I said, sports chiropractor near me, and I'm from Glen Ellen, Illinois, so I'm back home in Illinois. And up popped Dr. Stephen Major, really really well known guy in the area. And I went and met with him, had an assessment, and he told me what I already knew. My body was a complete mess. And he sat me down. He was one of the first guys, the first doctors that didn't have me in and out of his office in 5 minutes. Crack my back, you're good. He put me through an entire assessment, and it was great. And he came up with a plan, and I started to feel better. I will never be normal or feel normal, but I feel much better than where I was. So what I would do is, and he had a great facility, a great office where he had some good equipment that I would train with. He was our chiro. I got my chiro work, my nutrition with him. So as I was popping out of now, these semi-pro leagues, because after you're shot in the NFL, it's almost like you got to go to like minor leagues, like baseball, and kind of work your way back up and get new film, essentially. So as I was popping in and out of these minor leagues, I would come and I would train at this facility with Dr. Major, and then I'd get my chiro work and all that stuff. Up until I was doing the XFL pre-COVID, and then COVID hit, and then that league shut down. So, it was just punch after punch after punch, and obviously everybody was affected with COVID, and that was brutal. But that happened, and Dr. Major. This is a long story, but I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible. That happened, and Dr. Major said, as you're waiting for these leagues to open back up, would you like to hop on our staff and do sports rehab and help with treatment, and even if you wanted to train some athletes at our facility? I was, what, absolutely. When I was done with football, that was my plan anyways. I wanted to open up my own training facility and work with athletes. I love being around athletes. I love, just everything about sports, and it's a huge part of my life. And I wanted to continue down that path. And I'm very lucky that I was able to. So he asked me to do that, and that I started doing that, and I fell in love with it, and it kept growing and growing and growing to the point that we actually expanded to this facility that's right behind me. And if you can see that door over there, on the other side of that door is his original sports rehab and chiropractic office.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. So what we essentially did is I found out that this was an open space. I leased it. We took a hammer to the wall, and I added this entire performance center on this side now to make it a one-stop shop for the athlete. So everything in one location. And I'm, the owner and founder of it's called Major Sports Performance. And we are a sports performance facility working with all sorts of sports. We train speed and strength. They play off each other. They're so important. Work acceleration, speed, agility, conditioning, all that good stuff. So I love it. I'm lucky. I always tell people, I had that story where I got my ass whooped, but you know what? It led me down a certain path, and I get to do this now, and I absolutely love this. So don't feel bad for me. Don't feel sorry. I'm very lucky that I still get to remain in that sports world, and help younger athletes achieve their dreams. I'm really happy where I am.
100%. Yeah. I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason. So it seems like that kind of happened for you. Was it difficult mentally? Can you talk a little bit about your mental health going through, maybe you start feeling really good and then a different injury happens? That's got to be tough to keep coming back. How did you just keep moving forward?
Yeah, again, I don't want anyone to feel bad for me, but this is just what it was. The physical part sucked, but obviously, I played football my entire life, and I was pretty darn good at it. And to hear, at Nebraska, getting ready for my last game, like, hey, no, you're done. You're never going to play again in Nebraska. You have to have surgery right now, or you need a knee replacement when you're 25. To hear that and know, yeah, your career in Nebraska is done, and now I'm going to be on crutches, watching my teammates play their final game in our bowl, and that was horrible. It sucked. Mentally, I was terrible. Thank God, for my family and very close knit, and they were there to support me. They've always supported me. I love them so much. They're the best. To get me through that, because that was brutal. And then obviously snowball effect, and it's just another injury after another injury. It's tough. And yeah, there was some pretty tough times. But again, thank God I had the family. The family that I have are very close knit, and my fiance, she's wonderful, and she's always there for me. Because doesn't go away. I still have, to this day, there'll be days that are harder than others. I'm like, man, I miss it. I miss it. And then, I'm out here and I'm helping these young cats, and I'll show them a move and like, ooh, I feel good. And like, nope, we're done. We're done. We're done. That's it. So yeah, I mean, it's tough. And, I'll always have that, what if, there's no doubt in my mind, if I stayed healthy, I'd still be playing on Sundays. The ability was never the problem for me. It was just staying healthy. And it's for that, it's that for a lot of guys. So it is what it is. It is what it is.
You can
And
still get if you had
yeah,
to.
yeah, the physical part sucked, and then the mental part pretty brutal as well. And COVID didn't help, obviously, but again, it is what it is, and everybody has their own demons, and you just got to battle away and keep fighting.
Awesome. Well, that's a really inspirational story, and something that, I mean, I didn't know that you went through just, growing up watching you, but we kind of wanted to go through your entire career story. So I wanted to start when you're growing up and going through high school. Obviously, you absolutely killed it out in Illinois. Was it always football for you growing up?
Yeah. So my dad was a pretty big recruit in the area, and he went to the same high school as myself, and he was a stud. He was one of the best in the nation, wide receiver, highly recruited. He went to the University of Illinois when they were. I mean, they're much better now, but when I was playing them in college, they weren't very good. But he attended there when they were, they're going. He's got a Rose Bowl jersey, an Orange Bowl jersey, a Peach Bowl. I mean, he's got it. It's crazy all the stuff he has from Illinois back in the day when they were pretty darn good. But what's kind of I wouldn't call it funny, but my dad actually, he had a career-ending injury as well, where he had in a practice at U of I, he got his knee taken out, and he tore up his complete knee, and PCL, ACL, LCL, everything. So, and that was back in the 80s when that happened. It was, you're pretty much done. Yeah. No coming back from that. Now, I mean, now you do that and you're back in 6 months. It's just crazy how much the technology has changed. But he was a stud, and I grew up in the area, and yeah, football for me, at a young age, even in youth football, yeah, I was doing stuff that normal 7, 8-year-old, 9-year-olds weren't doing. The way I could catch the ball and whatnot. So at an early age, I knew it was football. It was all football. And I got to high school, and just football. That's all I did. I played football, and for me, it was a full year sport. And, my dad was always hard on me, and there was really no off season. We were always catching balls, doing stuff to get better. And then obviously when the season rolled around, you were in, fall camp and the season, that's what you were doing. But my time in Montini, my high school, it was fun, man. I was lucky. I had a great career there. 3 state championships. I'm pretty sure I'm still the record holder for pretty much everything. Wide receiver in the state of Illinois, and I'm pretty sure most of them won't ever be beaten, not anytime soon. Again, I was very lucky. I had some great quarterbacks, some great teams that I played on. But yeah, I mean, I had a pretty stellar high school career, and it got me recruited by some big time schools, obviously Nebraska. So yeah, I had a real fun high school career. Then I went to Nebraska, and you guys followed that. So pretty good career at Nebraska. I'm a record holder at Nebraska. I know that. I'm in top 10 for a lot of categories at the wide opposition. So very lucky, very, very lucky, blessed, fortunate career.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think you, as far as today goes, I was checking online, and you're the state record holder in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns. So that's insane.
All right.
Yeah. Congrats on that. What do you think really separated you in high school to post those numbers?
For me, I think I had a level of maturity on the field. Not off the field, I was an idiot, but on the field, I'm kidding. On the field, I understood what it took to be that type of player, and I'm very lucky. I had my dad who walked the same path as me, and he kept me in line, and he was my harshest critic. And it made me the player I was. Like, I mean, he didn't care. He made me understand that, yeah, Jordan, you just had a 200-yard receiving game, but you're going against guys that are probably not going to play football ever again next year. This is the high school level. It doesn't matter how good you are against these guys. It doesn't matter. Guess what? Your curl route in the third quarter was dog shit. That's what I remember. I don't care that you had 5 touchdowns and whatever. I don't care. Is that going to work against the Ohio State quarterback? Is that going to work against the Oregon guy? I don't care that it worked against little Jimmy over at St. Wherever it might be. But that's real. He was real with me, and I hated it, and it pissed me off. And at the time, it didn't make sense, but it allowed me to take my game every year from my freshman to my sophomore year, to my junior year, to my senior, to just keep climbing and climbing and climbing. And that's how I posted, those ridiculous stats. There was never any level of satisfaction. There was always push, 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 and understand that what you're doing now is cool, but you got to be prepared for an entirely different level of football when you get to Nebraska.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So kind of walk us through how you ended up getting to Nebraska. Obviously from Illinois. Was there any like pressure to go to Illinois, or was it kind of just up to you on that?
No, see, my dad was awesome. There was no pressure, but what made it a little bit easier is at the time Illinois sucked. So, and their coaches, we kind of knew they were on the outs. So at the time, Ron Zook was the head coach, and he got fired, I think, like a year later. But my dad was awesome. He was always whatever's best for you. We took visits everywhere. It came down to me for Nebraska and Notre Dame was though they were neck and neck at one point, but I committed to Nebraska early. I was a junior when I committed, and that's kind of rare, pretty early. But Notre Dame didn't care. They kept coming after me, and I had Coach Kelly out to my house in Glen Ellen, Illinois, and did all that stuff. I took an official visit there, but it was just Nebraska. I love Nebraska. I love everything about it. And you guys might not like this, but I didn't grow up like a Nebraska fan. I didn't know anything about them. I didn't really know much about their history. My dad did because he grew up, he played ball in the 80s, but I wouldn't consider myself a diehard Nebraska fan. I loved it there and I played there, and that's my alma mater. But I don't know all the history of everything and all that stuff. I just don't. I grew up a Notre Dame fan, so I grew up I went to a Catholic high school in Illinois, and I grew up in the Chicago suburbs. So it's all Notre Dame, right? All Notre Dame. So I knew about them, but I just loved Nebraska sent me a little USB drive my sophomore year at Nebraska. I'm sorry, my sophomore year at Montini. And I put it in my computer, and I was like, wow, this place is unbelievable. I got to go out here. I got to take a visit. And at the time, Coach Garrison, who was our offensive line coach, he was the area recruiter. And I a couple phone calls with him, like, this place is pretty cool. And I talked to Coach Rich Fisher, the whiteout coach. And I got to take a visit. I like this place. Went out there and did like an unofficial junior day, and it was a spring game. And of course, obviously the spring games are absolutely nuts, and it's 60,000 people. And I was like, whoa, what the hell is this? I love Lincoln. Lincoln has everything. It's not just a small town. You get your city feel, your suburb feel, your small town feel. And obviously you got it all in one place. I love that about it. It just felt right. It felt right. I love the academics. I love the university. The campus was phenomenal. And obviously the football, just second to none, right? Second to none, a historic program. I mean, I shouldn't say, like, I knew about Nebraska. I knew it was a very dominant program. I knew it was very historic. I knew all that stuff, but not so much, obviously to find the small things. I mean, you guys know the Nebraska fans they're fanatics, they're fans, and they can tell me everything about everything. And I love that. And that's another thing, the fans. Going to that spring game, and there's 60, how passionate they were, and how nice the fans are, and it was so cool. It was something I'd never seen, never been a part of. Like, wow, and it felt great. I loved it. I fell in love, and I committed early as a junior.
Yeah, 100%. That's awesome. So obviously our two, I think consensus two favorite plays you made was the Hail Mary against Northwestern, and then the behind the back catch. Obviously, just insane. I think it was ESPN Play of the Year. Is that right?
Yeah, I won so it's like the college football awards that they do, where they present like the Heisman and the Maxwell Award, all that good stuff. They did like a Play of the Year, and of course it was fan voted, so there was no way I wasn't going to win it. But
true.
it's a crazy play. It's something that you've never seen before in sports, and to get both feet in on the sideline. You can technically call it a one-handed catch because I caught it with one and pinned it against my butt cheeks. But yeah, that's a crazy play. What's kind of funny is the year before was the Hail Mary.
Mm-hmm.
And that play was also in the final four plays for Play of the Year at the college football. So back-to-back years, I was in the top four for Play of the Year. It's crazy.
So you got to take us through the Northwestern catch. What was going through your head when you saw that ball kind of tip up in the air and you think you might have a chance at catching it?
Yeah. There's so much crazy stuff with that play. The school that I caught it against, Coach Fitzgerald, he recruited me hard as an Illinois guy, and Illinois, Northwestern, they typically don't want to lose their in-state guys. So I saw Coach Fitz every other week, when I was a junior and senior, just recruiting me pretty damn hard. He's a great guy. Great guy. And I had a bunch of teammates actually that were on the team at the time. So I have bragging rights for life now with that. But it's just it's a crazy play. It's just one of those things you don't see it happen. And what are the odds? What are the odds of something like that happening? So, thank God Northwestern's defense, they all kind of ran up in front of the end zone. And I just did what I was supposed to do. Make sure I'm in the back, get ready for a tip. Then I'm pretty sure a Northwestern player is the guy who tipped it. Thank God they're DBs. They have no hands. Just again, there's definitely some luck, but there was some. I did what I was supposed to do. I was where I needed to be, and lucky that it was tipped backwards and I was there to make the catch. And I didn't know if I was in the end zone because I dove forward to get it, so I made sure I reached back. But when I caught it, I was in the end zone. Just a crazy play, and it was a big win for us because we were hitting the middle of our season and we were kind of up and down. So it was a really good momentum builder for us at that point in our season.
Yeah, go ahead.
So with the Hail Mary, is it a strategy? Like, is there a strategy to it, or is it just a lot of luck? Because obviously it's a lucky play, but do you have wide receivers that are guys that are going to go in there for a Hail Mary and just try and tip it up, or is it just hope that the DBs tip it up? Is there a strategy behind that?
Yeah, so essentially the play call, we call it Geronimo, but yeah, so what you do is you have a guy, typically your tallest guy, go to the middle, and then the other wideouts kind of surround the guy in front, behind, side, and side. And the hope is that guy can get a hand on it and tip it in a direction, and then the other guys just have to react off of that and catch it. So yeah, there is, and we practiced it. Which the funny thing is every single Friday in our walkthroughs, we practiced our end of the play games. So we knew what to do. We had done it a bunch, and we executed it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I never really thought about strategy behind that. That's pretty cool.
I mean, you just think of luck. And
were you on the bottom of the dog pile?
Yeah, that was scary. I went from not good. So thank God for we always talk about this dude, Jeremiah Searles. Thank God for him because he saved my life. I'm not the biggest guy in the world, but Jeremiah, I don't know how he got to me and was above me. I mean, he must have put on the jets to get down there, but he was above me, and he just like literally, I was like between his arms. He was doing like a press up, and we were both like screaming like get up, because we couldn't breathe, and both our faces were like red as can be, and it was a pretty frightening moment. It went from real happy, exciting to bye-bye to pretty frightening fast. Thank God people got up, and I think like Sam Birch like clotheslined me after I tried to do what the Ronnie did and run down the whole damn field, and I would have been right on their sideline too. So I was like, let's go. That'd have been funny. But Sam Birch grabbed me and brought me down, and then everyone else dog piled on top.
Yeah, we've been in a couple of dog piles for baseball, and I mean those hurt. So I can't even imagine you got a bunch of offensive linemen on top of you. That's gotta be terrible.
Yeah, it was frightening.
So obviously those are our favorite memories from you at Nebraska. But do you have like an underrated memory from your time as a Husker that maybe is kind of close to those moments?
I have some favorite games like my junior year when we played Michigan State and they were ranked 6th and they came in and we beat them at home. That was awesome. That was a fun one. Oregon,
Riley, or was that later?
That was right. Yeah, that was Riley.
Riley, yeah, that was awesome. That was a great.
Yeah, that was like even that game. I can talk about it now because it's years after it, but I had a concussion. I was playing half the game with a concussion. They had to on the last drive again. I got clocked and my head popped up and my head smashed the ground. And I got a concussion about right before halftime in the second quarter. I ran like a little out route and Tommy threw a ball and I jumped up and I got off the ground and their linebacker kind of grabbed me and whipped me down. So my head went boom, and I saw stars and it went green. I'm like, what the hell? And they cleared me and they brought me and did all the tests, but it was rough. But I get back out there, and then that final drive, I catch 2 like seam routes for 70 yards, and on the second one I got clocked again and thrown down, and I bit my lip, so I was like spitting out blood. I was a mess, and I went to go back out, and they were like, nope, and they took my helmet. So I came out, and then thank God, Brandon had that big play there, and then he made the play, and that was awesome. That one was a fun game. So I mean, that's one that I'll always remember.
For sure.
When my senior year against Oregon, I had 2 touchdowns. I didn't play the greatest game, but I still had a couple touchdowns, and that was a fun game. There was a big play at the end. It was a 4th and 9, and Tommy hit me on an in route to extend our drive, and then Tommy ran for a touchdown a couple plays later. So that was a play I always remember because it was a clutch play, big time play, 4th and 9. We would have lost the game. So that was a big one. Tommy, great pass on a little in route. That was 2 big games.
Yeah.
Anytime we played Michigan State, because I always had big games. That was fun. But I mean, yeah, the behind the back catch, the Hail Mary, they're kind of hard to beat those. Those are rare. Those are rare things that have happened. But yeah, I mean, I'm lucky. I had such a solid career at Nebraska, good stats and crazy ass plays. It was fun, and I'm very, very lucky, very fortunate career.
For sure.
Yeah. So kind of looking back on your time at Nebraska, was there one teammate that you were like, I wouldn't have been able to get through this time, like going through all the injuries, like somebody you really like leaned on as a good teammate?
Yeah, Tommy, absolutely. And he dealt with some injuries as well, so we kind of leaned on each other, and our families were very close, and we leaned on each other, and he's my best friend. And what's funny is I have my I'm getting married in September, so I have my bachelor party this weekend, and Tommy's coming into Chicago from Lincoln, so I'll see him in a couple days.
Are you golfing?
Dude, I suck at golf. I can't rotate. I can't keep my arm straight because my shoulder. I can't rotate. Hey, I can chip like crazy, and I can putt phenomenal. That's because it's all wrist and hands. But anything where I have to turn, like my driving, like it's brutal. It's brutal. I'm practicing. Maybe I should go more than twice a year. I'll probably get better. But
I bet you're good at scrambles, though.
yeah, right.
What?
But yeah, I mean, I do enjoy golfing. I just don't do it very often. Obviously, golf, you gotta practice that like crazy. But I do enjoy it. I love getting out there to a course, nice, bright and early, beautiful course, and playing 18.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about Wisconsin game. I think it might have been your senior year. Overtime. So fun fact, I was actually there, me and 2 of my buddies. It was our freshman year of college.
Yeah.
We're like, that Wednesday, we're like, let's just go since we're undefeated and let's go. And so we made the trip, and then hell of a game, and comes to overtime. And then I think, was it 4th down or was that 3rd down?
Are you talking about the 100% pass interference on
Yeah.
TJ?
Yes. Over the middle. Yes.
So that was like, that was either 2nd or 3rd down.
Yeah.
So they scored, they shanked the field goal. So we're like, let's go. We score, kick the field goal, we win. Yeah. And yeah, on that play, they did their film study. They knew that I ran a bunch of over routes. So they literally dropped. I mean, TJ Watt on the snap of the ball turned his back to Tommy and sprinted backwards. And I run that over route, ball's in the air, and he just runs through me. He impeded my progress. I mean, there's so many different penalties you can call it. It's impeding my progress, contact with the balls in the air, whatever. I mean, 100% a flag. And I remember they talked about it on Big Ten Network. We're like, how can they not call this? It would have put us on the 1 yard line. Yeah. We get 4 opportunities to punch it and kick a field goal, and we win in Madison. And we're in a much better mood going into that Ohio State week. Obviously, we got destroyed by Ohio State the next week, but yeah, that's a rough one. I don't like talking about that one, so thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
I had to bring it up.
I had to ask since I was there. Was that?
Yeah, that's it. You know what? Wisconsin, I think my true freshman year we beat them, but they always had our number. My junior year they won on a field goal at home. That's the game that Andy Janovich had like a 50-yard run up the middle for a touchdown. But it was always close games, and they always just beat us right at the last second. Bummer. Then obviously my redshirt sophomore year, that's the year that Melvin Gordon decided to become a video game player and run for 600 yards. That was wild. We went up 17-3 on them in Madison, and then second half he just decided to turn it on. We couldn't stop him.
We can do. So obviously you were there for Pelini as well as Riley. I feel like Husker fans have pretty strong feelings about that move, the decision to move on from Bo. I wanted to ask you, what was your original feelings when they said that, you know, Bo's leaving and we're bringing someone else in?
Mistake. You know, we go to Iowa, we beat Iowa in overtime, and the next day we wake up to a text, check your emails and for information regarding Bo Pelini. Like what? Like we immediately felt like, was he okay? What the hell happened? Because no one thought he was gonna get fired. Like what? We knew that the AD at the time, Sean Eichhorst and him butted heads, but not to the point that guy wins at Iowa, a good Iowa team in overtime, and he gets fired the next day. So no one was happy. It was ridiculous, and then that's part of the reason why they're kind of where they're at now. That started that whole domino effect of get ready for a lot of bad years of ball, and then you know obviously my last 2 years in Nebraska, we were still pretty good. We were Pelini recruits. My junior year, we ended up going to that bowl game and winning against UCLA, and our record was kind of rough. But all of the games we played, we were within like we lost the first game to BYU on a Hail Mary. We went to Miami, lost in overtime. We lost to Wisconsin on a field. I mean, all really close games. So our team was good. We were really good. It was just some unlucky, unfortunate plays that lost the game right at the end. So we were a good squad. Then the next year we went, 7-0, and then we should have won against Wisconsin, and then we got our butts kicked by and then injuries. Tommy gets knocked out the next week, and he starts to deal with a hamstring. We beat Maryland, beat Minnesota, then we lose to Iowa at Iowa. And we were. I mean, if you look up a picture of me from that Iowa game before my last game, just look at what I'm wearing, because I've got like knee sleeves on, I've got elbow band-aid. I look like I'm just like a walking like mash unit. It's really, we were just completely beat the hell up. So that's kind of what happened. That's kind of, we fell apart there towards the end. But we were still pretty solid, and junior year we win our bowl game. Senior year we went to a bowl game. We lost. Brandon went off. He had a big game. I didn't play in it. I was on crutches. Nate didn't play. Tommy didn't play. We would have beat the hell out of them if we were playing. And then the next years they kind of that's when just kind of dropped there. And I liked Coach Riley as a coach. He was, he has an NFL background, and he kind of came in with more of a laid back kind of, the guys got to act like adults, and you can't really do that with a college program. You have 18, 19, 20-year-old dudes. You gotta be strict. And I always liked the more fiery, in your face, let you know when you mess up, because that kind of instills discipline and accountability, and you can feel that. And some guys just don't react well to positive reinforcement, and to each their own. But obviously Pelini, fiery, Italian, in your face, swearing up a storm, versus laid back, older Mike Riley, more positive reinforcement, more of like the Tony Dungy type yeah. Coach. And it just didn't fit the guys that, the recruits that we had at the time. Obviously they were Bo's guys. We didn't mesh well. I loved Coach Riley. I loved him, but we had some real mature guys and some guys that needed to be put in their place, and we just didn't have that discipline as much with Coach Riley, and it was just his style. And sometimes it'll mesh well, but that's why you see in these transition years, year or two after a coach change, teams generally don't do really well because of that. They've got to recruit their own guys, and it's going to take some time, and they're going to recruit guys that will match their personalities more. And we were just still Pelini guys. So again, to each their own. Both great coaches in their own regards. And Coach Riley's kicking butt in the USFL.
Yeah, he is.
With Alonzo Moore on the Generals, and I love watching them. So again, it's just to each their own. Coaches are going to have their own philosophies, and they'll recruit their own guys for a reason. Some guys will mesh well, some guys won't, and it is what it is. That's why this year is going to be so. It's so interesting to me, because I always want to believe the hype and think, here we go, national champions. Woo! Be a typical Nebraska fan.
See? That's what these two are.
That's me. That's me. Let's go.
I gotta push my emotions to the side and go, you know what, in these transition years, it normally doesn't turn out too hot. So I don't want to set myself up for disappointment, especially when I understand how it works.
Now me and Trevin are justified.
Jeez, that's what we're split on this podcast. Two are very optimistic, two are not getting their hopes up.
No need to set up for disappointment. It's just gonna happen. So
I love it. I love I love it. We'll see. I mean, hey, again, I hope I would love to see it, but I just, generally that doesn't work out as well as you want it to, especially in that transition period. It's tough. It'll take a couple of years. So I hope they're patient with them. And again, my God, I'd love to see them kick ass. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I would love to see some stats on how many programs have had a first year coach, and what are those win totals looking like, or has there ever been a first year coach that's taken a team to a national championship? I'd love to see that stat.
Yeah.
Probably ain't gonna find many of them, but it is what it is.
Yep. So that's a good little transition into the Rule era. What did you think of the hire? Also, have you had any run-ins with Coach Rule? Like, have you met him before?
I have not. He followed me on Instagram. I'm sorry, he followed me on Twitter. So I don't know. I don't know what that means or what that is. But I'm sure he got familiar with some of the more known, Nebraska players or whatever. I don't know. I have no idea. But he followed me on Twitter. I followed him, and he seems like a great coach. I know little about him. I know he's at Baylor. I know he had a stint in the NFL. But yeah, I mean, for me at this point, I'm just like, produce wins. Produce wins. I don't believe the high pay grade. I understand you're a good coach and people like you, but put it on paper, let me see it in the games. Prove it to me. I want to see it. I'm at that point, right? Nebraska, they have not been to a bowl game since my senior year at Nebraska. That's insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah, sad.
2016. That's insane. So yeah. I'm no longer at the point where I'm believing any hype. I got to see it. I got to see it.
Oh, man. Yeah. So my next question is, what are your kind of predictions for year one? I know you're not going to buy into it yet. The schedule's pretty friendly.
It is.
So I guess, what are your thoughts on year one?
Let me pull up their schedule real quick, because I did this the other day, and I went through it. I just got to see their schedule. I don't know it right off the top of my head. Okay, so
yeah, let's run through the schedule.
Accurate. So their first game against Minnesota, that's not a bad team. It's at Minnesota. That's a toss-up. Oh no, this isn't the right season. What am I looking at here?
Yeah, we're
like game one.
Yeah.
What the hell is this? 1 second.
Start at Minnesota and then at Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. Okay. Now, I got it. Okay, so game one, Minnesota. That's a tough one. They got some good coaches. I don't know. Hoping for the best, but again, you don't know. I don't know. That's a toss up to me. At Colorado, Coach Prime's going through the same thing. It's a year one coach. They lost half their freaking team the transfers. I think he's going to have a rude awakening too. So that one's a toss up. I'll take Nebraska on that one. Northern Illinois has kind of been kryptonite for Nebraska the past few years, right? That's a toss up, but I'm going to take Nebraska.
Okay.
Louisiana Tech taking Nebraska on that one. Michigan's going to win that game. At Illinois, that's a tough game. At Illinois, I will lean with my emotion and say Nebraska will win that game.
Okay.
Versus Northwestern at home, I'll take Nebraska. So where are we at right now? That's
5-2.
LWW. I'm sorry. LWW. We're 3. Yeah, we're 3. So W against Minnesota, I'll take that. It'll be a tough game. W against Colorado. I don't think that's going to be as tough game as people think. Versus Northern Illinois, I'll take a W there. Okay, we might start out 4-0. Okay, whoa. Let me back up.
Yeah.
We'll see. Of those first 4 games, I can see Minnesota being an L. So, but all winnable games. Michigan's going to win that game.
That's fair.
At Illinois is not bad. That'll be a toss up. So I'm not going to say who I think. I mean, it's a toss up. Versus Northwestern, that's at home. It's always a tough game against Northwestern. Always, it's so weird. It always is, but I'll take us at home. Purdue's not bad either. I mean, Big Ten's. This isn't going to be any sleepers here. I'm sorry, any cupcake games. Versus Purdue, that's at home. I'll take us. At Michigan State, they're pretty bad right now. I'll take us. Maryland's pretty bad. I'll take us. Wisconsin will beat us. Iowa, my guess is Iowa will beat us. So what does that put us at?
Like 8-4.
8-4, 9-3.
8-4, 9-3.
Man,
I mean, that's a good year. Like
that's a very, very good year. That's some very, very wishful thinking. Again, like there's a lot of toss-ups, which I'd probably lean away from Nebraska, but I'll, for the boys podcast here,
yeah, we love it.
I'll lean towards them. So yeah, I mean that's at best 9-3. At worst, turn those close games into L's, and then you're looking at what we need to do. We just got to get to a bowl game, and then we'll be heading in the right direction. So what is that? 6 wins? 6 wins? I think that's very doable. Very doable.
100%. We love to hear it.
Yeah.
You guys got any final questions for the boy?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. No.
I think that's all we got for you. So we got what? We'll say 9-3. 9-3 for the boys this year.
Whatever.
Again, that's some very optimistic and wishful thinking, but I'd love it. I would love to see it, man. It's been too long, right? It's been too long. Too long. Yeah, we fire Pelini. Now we're wishing we had Pelini there getting 9 wins a season,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
It's ridiculous. But yeah, that's I'm anywhere from, God, we just got to get 6 wins. Get 6 wins for me, please.
We're going to do it. Love it. Well, Jordan, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for hopping on the pod with the boys. We really love talking to you, man.
Yeah, hey, I appreciate it. Anytime. Let's do this again sometime soon.
Yeah, maybe we'll have you on like mid-season or maybe at the end, and we'll
Yeah.
recap our the schedule.
Yeah, we'll check our tape and see how accurate we were on some of these predictions here.
Awesome. Well, thanks, man. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Yeah, have a great night. Go Big Red.
Go Big Red. Let's go. All right. Thank you, Jordan. A true Nebraska football legend that we just got to chop it up with for an hour. That's pretty sweet.
He's a good dude.
Great dude. Just some of the best memories, I think, from Nebraska football involved him in some way
Yeah.
Yeah, because we really haven't been good since him.
until this year.
Till this year.
He told us 9-3.
Guess we'll see. You guys can keep drinking the Kool-Aid.
We will keep chugging it.
It's too late to stop now.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then when we're 1-3 to start the season, you guys will be
No.
asking why.
1-3.
I just threw out a record that was bad.
There's no way we go 1-3.
Yeah, 1-3 is.
That was
probably
asinine.
2-2.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Who? No.
we just went through this, but
We'll see. Nebraska will have to prove it. Like you said, prove it on the field at this point.
they will.
They could.
They will. They could. They could.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah, great guy. We're just gonna move right into the BDB3, or no, not the BDB3.
Down
The
bad.
down bads of
Boys
the
down
week.
bad. Or yeah, the down bads.
Boys.
Boys down bad, down bads.
The down bads of the week. Chris, would you like to start us off?
Yeah, I can start us off. I'm going to go with technology, specifically with Titanic. So if you haven't heard, there's a submarine that takes people down to the wreckage of Titanic, goes in and out of the ship. It's $250,000 per person. Did you see that?
No, I did not see
Yeah.
that.
I did not see.
Yeah.
that.
That's
Really?
how much it costs to go down there.
Well, it's a pretty
And
penny.
yeah, this week it went missing. And the people only have, I think now it's like 35 hours left of breathable air.
So when this comes out, they could be.
It'll either be really good or really bad.
Yeah, because when this episode airs, it'll be past 35
past.
hours. So if they haven't found it, then those people are really down bad.
Was the submarine, was anything called like, was Titanic in any sort of this description?
What do you mean?
Like this submarine tour? Did like
They were touring
They
the
were just
wreckage
Yeah, so like
of the Titanic.
so they're in the area where Titanic sank and where the
you
ship
just can't
is.
do that. Can't
Yeah,
sign
I
up
d-
for that.
Titanic sinks another ship.
Yeah. I saw that this was only the 5th one that's ever gone down.
Yeah. So it
Like
hasn't
to actually try to see the Titanic.
Yeah. So it hasn't really been tested a whole lot.
No.
Probably
You probably got to
because-
be like, you got to know it's going to come back before first of all, 250,000. I can't afford that anyway, so it doesn't matter.
You can't
But-
afford that?
No,
Broke.
never will.
Broke boy.
I am. But you got to know it's going to come back up before I get in that thing.
Yeah, and I mean
And there's no
that's-
tracker on it. No GPS
well,
tracker.
I think they lost connection.
Okay.
Yeah, if there was no tracker, no one would get on that.
Yeah, no, they lost connection, and I lost my train of thought. Oh, that would be like one of my biggest fears, I think.
Yeah.
Being trapped in a submarine in a very smaller than this room
Yeah.
with, I think, were there 6 people in there?
I think it's 5 or 6 capacity.
You just can't.
Just
And you just
knowing that
know
you're
you have
probably
this
going
many
to die.
hours left. Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah.
But hoping the best for them. Hopefully when this pod comes out, we found them.
Hopefully.
They're okay. But terrible situation.
Yeah. Just got to be better with technology.
Yeah.
Especially when you're going down in the ocean that deep. Like, I mean,
The ocean is scary. But we said, did you and I say that we would rather be in the ocean than in the jungle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
why?
Because I think you would die.
You're gonna die regardless.
You're gonna die either way.
You're probably.
What was
gonna
it
die.
like? 20 miles or something?
Yeah, it was. Would you rather go 20 miles in the ocean or 50 miles in the jungle?
Yeah. If you had to like get to safety.
You know, safety is either 20 miles or 50 miles.
I think I'd take jungle, actually.
We looked up all the things he would die from, and I don't think he'd make it.
Probably disease is probably number 1.
No.
Disease?
Jaguars, lions,
Spiders,
snakes.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you get bit by something and then you get some
Yeah.
disease or something.
Sure, yeah.
Or you just get strangled by a boa constrictor.
Yeah, that's...
Well, that too. But,
oh.
I mean, I
I'm
don't
taking
know.
my chances.
There's a
with-
lot of things
the-
in the ocean that
The ocean is
can eat
scary
you
too. I think if you're swimming on top,
You don't know
I don't
what's
really
below
think
you.
anything's going to mess with you. But you also have to deal with the temperature. It's going to be very cold. And you won't be able to like eat.
Yeah.
Really.
You can't
you
eat
have
because
to
you
tread-
can't eat the fish right
you also
there.
have to tread water for 20
a
miles.
long time.
Well,
And you don't know
you're
what's under
swimming.
you.
Yeah,
You don't
but
have
That's
to
still
necessarily-
20 miles. That's a long
Yeah,
way.
but
it's a long ways.
I'd rather take the shorter distance, knowing I'm probably cooked on either of them.
I don't know. At least I could see something coming. If you're swimming at the top, you're not going to see anything coming in the ocean.
Yeah, I think you get killed easier or faster in the jungle. But the ocean would be harder to get
Yeah.
to land.
Yeah.
Because you have to swim for 20 miles. That's a long time.
Yeah. I just don't think you make it even 5 miles before you're you have no water.
But you could find water.
But is it safe? Or you're going to get water and then poison dart frog just
See ya.
Could happen.
kills you.
I don't know. It was a good debate we had a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. I would. Sad I missed it.
Well, that's a good down bad. Again, hopefully they
Hopefully they
Come to
return back
safety.
soon.
Yep.
Praying for them.
absolutely. Peters?
Yeah, my down bad is Hunter Biden. Pled guilty today.
Yep.
So
So what does that mean?
he just said, you got me.
Basically said I did it.
So, but then he'll be fine, I'm sure.
Typically, you get like a lesser charge when you plead guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go lenient on you. They're not as strict on you.
Joe will find a way to get him out
Joe will
of there.
pardon him or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
That'll be
wouldn't
fine.
like dethrone the whole government system if he just pardons his son. That wouldn't create even more lack of trust with the American people.
Yeah.
I don't think the American people trust our government anymore anyway.
Correct.
Can't
But
get
the
any
ones
worse.
that are holding on,
Yeah.
I don't think nepotism
Probably not.
does Mr. Joe Biden any favors.
Mm-mm.
So,
He's down bad.
yeah, I mean, at least he owned up to his mistakes.
Yep.
Didn't waste a bunch of
Respect.
time. Yeah,
He's
Hunter
down bad.
Biden.
Hunter Biden.
Don't feel bad for him.
I have an up good this week. Wyndham Clark won the U.S. Open. Very cool story. His mom passed away. Thought about giving up golf time and time again.
Yeah.
Had a lot of mental issues. And then got through all that. Figured out his game. Kind of got some mental help, I think. Therapists.
Yeah.
And then just won the U.S. Open. So excited for him. That's really cool.
Yeah, that was sweet.
It was a good finish. I feel like we haven't really had a good.
Yeah.
Was it a good finish?
I mean, it was close. It came down to the last putt.
He almost choked.
He did almost choke.
That was
I think a ton of people were rooting against him, and then like they told his story like on 17, like oh if
Yeah.
he wins like with his mom and stuff, and then everyone's like, I feel bad for cheering against him now.
Yeah, because I mean, everyone's gonna cheer for Rory.
Yeah.
just because he's.
The thing with the U.S. Open is they try and set it up to be the hardest week of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Wyndham Clark sliced his drive right.
He thought it
He
was
was-
off the property.
He
It was,
did.
it was in the fairway. It was
Yeah.
a like 56-yard like wide fairway.
It's the widest fairway in U.S. Open history.
Yeah.
18th.
Like
At
You can't put that on 18. I feel like.
No.
I don't think it was a great finish because he didn't have to really do anything. He hit like driver 7-iron 2-putt, and he was completely fine after hitting a horrible drive.
Yeah, I'm just saying it was a good finish as far as like it was
Entertainment
close.
wise. Yeah.
Yeah,
It wasn't like a 3 or 4 stroke
Yeah.
win where it's like who really cares.
Yeah.
I think
He had to make that last putt.
Yeah, LACC is not a good U.S. Open course.
No.
I mean, I don't know.
Well, the problem is they allowed 23,000 fans. Half
That
of
was a
them
problem.
Are like, what is it?
Members and
Get like the special treatment.
yeah.
And then LACC members and the country club bought like half of the GA tickets.
Yeah.
Like there was just no one there.
Yeah.
It was already half of what was at Brookline, and then half of those weren't even available.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think it's set up. You can just like miss it. I guess the marine layer, which everybody was.
They didn't set up the course that hard the first 2 days. I thought the pins were pretty easy.
Yeah.
But like if you look on Saturday and Sunday when it got like sunny and like hard and fast, like the scores were pretty high.
The pins on the back 9 on Sunday were
Yeah.
very difficult.
Yeah. So I think if they like, I think it's supposed to be there in like 2039 again. Like I think they'll learn from this and like make the fairways a little narrower, let it grow out, and they won't water it like the week before, so it's already like hard,
Mm-hmm.
even if the marine layer's there. And then I think it could be a little harder.
The only thing with that is I don't think you mess with LA, like the members at LACC. I don't think they're going to be okay with just making the fairways more narrow because that's
Yeah.
going to affect them playing it too.
True.
Like it's what I was hearing. It's like almost more exclusive than Augusta.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you think about it, they just shut it down, right? So basically from January to now, they shut down the course to get it ready. So they let the grass grow. And then now so like if this happened in 2039, they let the fairways get a little narrower. So they build up the rough a little more. And then they just completely go back to normal after this week.
So they closed it from January.
Usually that's
the-
what they do for the U.S. Open. They close the course so nobody plays on it. They get it ready, all that kind of stuff. And then they go back like the month after they make it normal
Yeah.
again. If they have it at like a country club or, those kind of courses.
Yeah.
So like they could just make their fairways normal again. You just completely cut the rough to fairway height and then it'll go back to normal.
Could do that.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, that sounds like a great plan. But when you're dealing with like the richest people in LA, I don't think they're going to be just on board to do that.
True. Be interesting to see how it plays out. Yeah, it was a good. I liked watching it. It was an entertaining tournament. I feel Rory's gonna get one soon. You would think.
He's either going to get one soon. If he doesn't win the Open this year, it'll be 10 years in between majors.
And he's had.
It means he would have 40 opportunities.
Has he had like 18 top 10s?
I think so.
Yeah.
He's
since
finished
his
high in a
last
lot.
finish, or his last win. That's
And
great.
he might have finished like top 5 in every tournament this year, major.
Yeah.
Because the Masters, I think he was top 5. PGA, he was up there.
Yeah,
And now the U.S. Open.
it's crazy.
If he doesn't get one soon, though, he's 33, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, he's getting up there.
You got to
His
think
window's closing.
like, say
Probably-
5 more years like prime Rory.
That puts him at 38. I'd only give
I mean,
him about
he's
3.
Crushing the golf ball. though.
Yeah.
like that's never.
The
I
thing
feel
is,
like
if he loses over the next 5 years, if he loses 20 yards of distance, like he's still carrying it well over 300.
Yeah. but his putting sucks.
Maybe
Yeah.
he'll work harder on his putting then.
He should.
He needs to do that now, but
Yeah.
Feel bad for Ricky.
yeah, it was a good story too.
I understand why one of the reasons they went back to the LACC is they want to have it places that you don't see very often. The thing that sucks about the West Coast is it's great for like fans watching it, but the players definitely suffer from it because Ricky was putting in basically the dark on 18 on
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah.
You just can't have that because at that point you're just kind of ruining it. Like if it finishes at 6 instead of 7
Mm-hmm.
Central or Eastern, like that's fine.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. It's a good tournament. Do BDB3 real quick.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Chris, what's the topic?
So it's top 3 television shows that are like on streaming services. So like Netflix, Hulu, Peacock,
Okay.
HBO Max, those kind of shows that you would watch on those streaming services. Not like, oh, you just turn on TV and it's going to be on.
Yep.
Like
Okay.
those kind of.
You want to start us?
Yeah, I can start. Number 3, I'm going to go One Tree Hill.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I was a big One Tree Hill fan. It was a
that's
good,
going to be on my list as well.
that was a good show. Number 2, I'm going to go All American. It's on Netflix. Have you guys seen that?
Started
It's-
watching it, didn't.
It's the football one with in LA, Spencer James. I think it's based on a true story.
I haven't seen it.
Is it really?
Yeah, Spencer James was a true. Yeah,
Didn't know that.
lived in the hood and like
Yeah, I started
just-
watching it and then I was just got bored.
it's pretty good. You should finish it. How long ago did you start watching it?
I started when we were living together, and then that's when I gave up.
Oh, so a long time ago.
Yeah,
All right, then you'd probably have to rewatch completely.
not doing that.
And then number 1, I'm gonna go Outer Banks.
Why is that?
It's just a good show. I
Okay.
think I mean
Banks is-
I think there's been 3 seasons now, and I think the last 2 I've binged watched in like a day. Like when they first came out,
Yeah.
like I had them watched in in a day.
Outer Banks is solid. It's a good
It
list.
is solid.
Not bad.
Thank you.
It's okay.
Peters?
My number 3 is also One Tree Hill. I just started rewatching that again. Number 2, How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
It's a
I
good
know
one.
some people hate it, some people love it. I
The
love
ending
it.
is the worst of all. Worst ending of any show ever.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah.
But it's a good story. And then obviously my number 1 is Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah.
It's addicting. It's to the point where it's not great for
Mhm.
just like I just don't need to know all this stuff. I don't need it coming up on my TikTok every second time I watch a video.
Yeah.
But it's entertaining. If you haven't watched it, we talked about it last week. Give it a try.
Mhm.
It's gonna be worth it.
Let's try it out.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking like just shows that are very rewatchable, pop that on. Have a good time. Learn some new things.
Yeah. Great list. My number 3, I'm gonna go Parks and Rec. I love Parks and Rec. Just an easy show to throw on and
Yeah.
just in the background.
Yeah.
Number 2 is The Office. Just classic. Can't be. Oh, you have some thoughts?
I'm just not a huge Office guy.
How much have you watched? Have you watched past the first season?
Yeah. And I'm just
No,
not
he
a,
hasn't.
No, he
I'm
hasn't.
just
That
not
was
a huge
t-
fan.
No.
If you haven't watched,
What do you not like?
I just
about
think it's overrated.
No.
I don't think
It's
it's
the-
that funny.
one of the greatest shows ever made.
I mean, you're not gonna just like laugh out loud every single line.
I know, but
You're gonna laugh out loud every single episode,
Yeah.
at least once.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't watched the full thing. So,
Well,
You need to watch.
but I have watched past the first season.
How far have you gotten?
second season.
Season 2, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I
you
quit.
you have to get past the first 2. Yeah, the first 2 are great. Like once you've watched the whole thing, you go back and rewatch.
Yeah, which
Okay.
is one thing I hate about people are like, you got to watch the first 2 seasons of a show and then it gets good. I hate that.
Yeah.
But also, like, if you do give it a chance, like, if that's your pitch to me, like, I'm not gonna watch your show.
Yeah.
But if you're like, the first couple episodes are bad, But once you get through it and you rewatch it, it'll be funny because you understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my number 2. Number 1 is Ted Lasso. Have you guys seen Ted Lasso?
I haven't started
Yeah.
yet.
You have seen it?
I've seen
Yeah.
like
Do you like
episodes
it?
here and there.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
I love Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Jason Sudeikis does such a good job.
Yeah.
Such a good job.
Yeah.
You need to.
That's fine.
You have
You-
to.
you
watch
gotta
that
watch
We're
one.
it.
actually like, we'll probably start watching it tonight.
Yeah, it's good. It's worth it.
Yeah, good list.
Do you have any honorable mentions?
Yellowstone was a miss by me.
Oh,
I'm
Yellowstone.
a big Yellowstone fan.
The League for me.
The
Have you guys
League
seen
is
The
great.
League?
Yeah.
Yes. Friday Night Lights. I love
Yeah.
Friday Night Lights.
Ozarks.
Jeez. Yeah.
Have you guys
Should've had
seen
a-
Ozarks?
Yeah, I should.
I haven't seen
Ozarks
Ozarks.
is good. The episodes are just too long, I think, but it's still
It's
good.
a lot of just the seasons are short though.
Yeah. They're
It's
just like hour and 15 episodes, so it's just
if
takes
you
some
like
time.
compare it to like a normal show that's like 45-minute episodes,
Yeah.
probably to watch all of it compared to some other show,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's gonna take the same amount of time, but it's just
Friends. That's
Friends
up
is
there
good.
for me.
yeah.
It's a pretty good list.
Pretty good list.
I'm sure we're missing some huge ones.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure.
But yeah,
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld is solid.
Yeah.
I haven't seen all of it, but it's always funny. I know a lot of people like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia,
Never watched
30
it.
Rock.
Never seen
Never
it.
watched
Never
it.
seen
I
it.
haven't either. People love it though.
Let us know what we missed. 'Cause we
Yeah.
missed
Yeah.
a lot.
Missed a lot.
Let us know what we should try out.
Yeah.
If you
Take
like
some
it,
requests.
if you like a show, and we should try it out.
Grey's Anatomy. I know a lot of people love.
Oh.
I hate it.
I like. It's gone too long.
Yeah.
I've heard Manifest is good. Have you guys?
I've heard that's good. I haven't seen
It's
it.
I think it's on Netflix. I've heard it's good, but I don't
It's
know.
not the best.
Really.
Yeah, the first couple episodes are very out there. I mean, the whole like preface is
Yeah.
insane, but like they do it up.
Yeah. All right. Roulette.
All right, here we go.
Come on.
Come on, 10.
18.
18.
Interesting one.
All right,
Gosh,
one more.
Dang it.
Red.
All right, spin number 2. Come on, 10. 31.
Ew.
Yuck.
Gross. Yeah, we should probably
Yuck.
just do one more. Then.
Nope.
Nope.
2's good.
We're good with 2. Great with 2.
Yeah.
It was only for $20.
That's good enough.
It's great rolls.
No winners.
It's okay. All right. Shout out Jordan Westerkamp again, Nebraska legend. Chopping it up with the boys.
Good dude.
Really
Great
good guy.
Yeah. All right. This is the Boys Down Bad podcast. I'm Dylan.
Peters.
Chris.
Episode's the top 10 weekend.